Yo, what is going on, Sexy Beast? Senor Rabbit here, and today we are going to be taking a look at every single LMG in Call of Duty Zombies history, so let's go ahead and get this shit started. So now we are only going to be taking a look at World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and Black Ops Trace. We're not going to be taking a look at Black Ops 4, mainly because the game's still coming out with new stuff, and you never know when Treyarch's going to throw in another gun in those loot boxes that you're going to have to pay for, so I don't want to make this video and then it already becomes irrelevant because there's like 3 more LMGs out of the next day. So once Black Ops 4 is completely done with everything, maybe we'll come back and redo this video, but until then we're just focusing on the first 4 games. Now I have done the sniper rifle version of this, so if you guys would like to see like an assault rifle version of this, or like SMGs, or like the shotguns, let me know which one you guys want me to do next down below in the comments. And with all that said, let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start off with some World at War. Let's go ahead and start off with the Browning. Now back in the OG World at War days, the Browning was a necessary tool to get to high rounds, because high rounds was like round 20. If you got the round 20 back in the day, that was legit. You were considered like MLG Pro back then, because back in the day, all you needed was an LMG, the ray gun, the Wonder Waffle, and a couple of retarded friends. You go sit up on the catwalk, and you just unload as much ammo into those zombies as you possibly can, until you eventually die on like round 21, 22, somewhere in that general area. So back in World at War, the Browning was actually considered to be a really good gun. But if you order to today's standards, it's really not that good. When you upgrade this thing, it doesn't get any more powerful, all it gets is more ammo. And since it has a lot of ammo, eventually you just keep pumping those bullets into those zombies, you will get a kill, but it is very slow mobility and reload speed wise, so you're going to be able to like shoot a couple shots, and the zombies are going to catch up to you, then you'll have to run away, and you're going to have to keep doing that over and over again, and by doing that, it's going to take even longer to get a kill. So the Browning on high rounds is definitely not that good. It's really an early round point weapon, and I would definitely get rid of it once the catwalk no longer becomes an option. And since we're on World at War, let's go ahead and talk about the MG42, my preferred LMG of World at War Zombies. I love the MG42 because of that insane fire rate. You get double tap 2.0 on this thing, and it is amazing. You really kind of start to understand why the Russians sent a lot of German POWs to the gulags, because if you fucking hear this MG42, I would shit my pants too. This thing has such an impressive fire rate, it's going to be able to kill zombies on high rounds. Now, it's not going to do anything amazing, but it will definitely get you kills a little bit faster than the Browning. So I don't want you guys to think that this thing is a completely amazing gun on high rounds and that's going to get you a million kills. It's just a better alternative to the Browning. It's still going to be slow reload speed wise and have a terrible mobility rate to where you're going to have to shoot and then run, shoot and then run, and that's just not good, you know, like at all. Especially when you have dogs chasing you from right behind, it's just not a good combination, good? So the Browning and the MG42 are both really good early round weapons and catwalk weapons, but once you start to get up there, you definitely got to trade these out for something with better mobility. And speaking of better mobility, I don't really know if these two should be on this list, but because World at War classified them as machine guns, I'm going to go ahead and include them. Let's start with the FG42. Now, out of all the WAW weapons in World at War, this thing carries the most ammo, which is really good, especially since it has an incredibly fast fire rate up there with the MG42. Now, where this thing lacks is its damage. It is one of the weakest weapons you can actually get in World at War, so early round wise this thing is amazing, but once you get to like the 20s, that's when I would definitely trade this out for something more powerful. So by now you guys have probably already done the mental maths and have figured out that this thing on high rounds will disappoint you more than my channel, so definitely do not recommend the FG42. Now the other machine gun is going to be the BAR. The BAR is kind of a disappointment as well. It's like in World at War, the weapons were separated into 2 categories: get or don't get. This was one of the ones you don't get. It doesn't carry that much ammo in its magazine, its fire rate is nothing to be desired, its strength is nothing to be desired, it's pretty expensive on some of the other maps. I don't know why this BAR was so goddamn expensive in Verrucht, I still don't know to this day, but this thing was like one of those things that's just overhyped and it should be good, but it's not. And on high rounds, you will get a lot of kills, and by a lot, I mean none. Well, maybe like 1 or 2. It really just depends on what your definition of a lot is. Alright, so let's get out of World at War and let's head over into Black Ops 1. With Black Ops 1, we only have 2 LMGs. We got the HK-21 and the RPK. I'm going to make this quick because I'm pretty sure you guys already know what's going to be happening. They ain't do jack shit. Well, that's not nice. They don't do shit. I don't want to say jack shit. That makes it sound a lot more harsh than I want to come off as. But you will not be able to get anything with these things on high rounds. They just don't put out enough damage. If you play the good old World War II Russian tactic, you just throw enough things down there, eventually you're going to win. That was their strategy. You just throw enough bullets at those zombies and eventually you're going to get a kill. Or you're going to run out of ammo, or you're going to die. It's one of those options. And if you were to force me to pick which one I would rather have, the HK or the RPK, I would probably say RPK just because it has a faster fire rate, and that's how I like to play zombies. But it doesn't really matter because neither of these things are to be desired on high rounds. They're not up there with like the godlike powers of the PM63 or Car 98. They're more down there with the lower class, with the peasants. They're not up here with the nobility like us. Alright, so now let's head into Black Ops 2 and take a look at all of those LMGs, and the first one we're going to be taking a look at is going to be the LSAT. Now, I like the LSAT. I think it's a pretty good weapon, and I think it's really, really cool how you can get it and bury it off the wall if you can somehow make that jump, but if you're, white like me, you probably couldn't make the jump, so no LSAT for us. But the LSAT is actually a really good weapon in Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2's weapons, they didn't get like as good as the Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4 guns. They are definitely like in the middle ground of all the weapons in Call of Duty Zombies history. On high rounds, you will definitely be able to get a lot more kills than you have in previous zombies, but you're not going to be doing anything too impressive like you would with the Dingo. Out of all the Black Ops 2 MGs, I would definitely say the LSAT is one of the best, but out of like every single weapon in history, it's probably falling more towards the middle. I'm not trying to discredit the LSAT, it's definitely a fantastic LMG, I'm just trying to say that with the newer games, you're definitely getting better and better guns. And speaking of better, let's go ahead and talk about the exact opposite, the Hammer. I fucking hate this LMG. The reason I just strongly dislike, I don't want to say hate, that's a meanie word, I don't want to do that to it. I just strongly dislike the Hammer. And the reason for that is because of that atrocious recoil. That recoil is terrible. Even when you upgrade it, it doesn't get too much better. It does get better, but there is still some really noticeable recoil. This gun isn't too powerful, it doesn't have an insane fire rate, it's meh, with shitty recoil, and I don't like that, not one bit. So me personally, not a fan of the Hammer. It's not going to do much on high rounds. You'll get a couple kills just, because you got a lot of ammo, and that's about it. Next up is going to be the RPD, and similar to the Hammer, it's just meh. It doesn't do enough damage to really make it a viable high round gun, and you only have it on a couple maps, so that kind of sucks. So a lot of Black Ops 2 LMGs just function on the principle that eventually you're going to get a kill just because you have so much ammo. And the last LMG, the MG08, still does kind of follow suit in that, but this gun does have one really cool feature about it that I just really, really enjoy, and that is the ricocheting bullets. If you hip fire with this thing, you can just notice that bullets are flying all across your screen, and that is pretty freaking cool. It might not really do that much damage, but it gets cool points, alright? And I really do like that. So the MG08 is definitely my preferred gun in Black Ops 2 Zombies if we're talking strictly LMGs. Usability wise on high rounds, don't worry about it. It's got ricocheting fucking bullets. What more do you want? And speaking of ricocheting bullets, let's go ahead and talk about Black Ops 3. I don't know what those have to do with Black Ops 3, but let's get into Black Ops 3 LMGs. The first one we're going to be talking about is going to be the BRM. The BRM, in my opinion, is definitely the worst LMG for high rounds, mainly just because it don't do shit. Like, I would rather have the LSAT than the BRM. When I first used this thing on like round 50 plus, I was expecting great things because Black Ops 3 weapons got significantly better, a lot more were doing a lot better things on high rounds, so I was like, alright, I got some high hopes for this, it's gonna be fucking good, and it proceeded to not be good. So the BRM is definitely on the lower end of the totem pole for Black Ops 3 LMGs, and if we, do like a 180 on the top of the totem pole, is definitely going to be the Dingo. This is, in my opinion, one of the greatest LMGs we have ever seen in Call of Duty Zombies history. If you get like all the zombies in just one straight conga line, and you aim for the head, you're going to take out a lot of effing zombies. I'm trying to be more family friendly here, guys, come on. It's got a really impressive fire rate, its mobility isn't incredibly bad, it's got a pretty decent amount of ammo. Dingo is an amazing weapon for high rounds, for boss fights, whatever you want to do, I do too. Blues Clues. The Dingo is a great LMG, and I believe it did get reskinned for two other LMGs, the RPK and the MG08, because those guns behave very, very similar to the Dingo, as in they are freaking amazing on high rounds. The RPK, I don't know why, I just love that thing in Black Ops 3. I think it is amazing. It is amazingly good. It's freaking awesome. It gives me Black Ops 1 vibes. I love it in Black Ops 3. I wish it still had the same fire rate that it did in Black Ops 1, but I can move past that because this thing will actually do some things on high rounds, and so will the MG08. All three of those, the Dingo, RPK, and MG08, are definitely the greatest LMGs in zombies history. And another contender that you might be able to swing in with those three would be the Gorgon, depending on who you ask. Me personally, not a fan of it. It's way too slow for my taste. It does punch out a lot of damage, but its fire rate and its mobility for me are just way too slow, and I'm not a fan. It's one of those guns that over time, because it's very powerful and it's an LMG, you're going to get a lot of kills, but its fire rate and its mobility for me really hinder it, so that is why I am not a personal fan of the Gorgon. Now, the last LMG we're going to be taking a look at is going to be the 48 Dredge, and this really surprised me when I first used it. I didn't think it would be anywhere near good, because in general, burst weapons tend to not be good, unless we're talking about like the Black Ops 1 M16 and multiplayer. I fucking loved that thing. That thing was so much fun. I don't know why, I just really enjoyed the M16 and multiplayer. It's just a really fun gun to use. But in zombies, usually burst weapons are not that good, and the 48 Dredge, I did not have high hopes for. But it surprised me. It's actually a pretty decent gun on high rounds. A couple bursts to that zombie's face, and they're going to go down pretty freaking quick, and it's got a pretty decent amount of ammo. Its mobility speed isn't god-awful. It's a pretty decent weapon. I was very pleased with its performance. So a lot of LMGs and zombies tend to be dog shit. I feel like with Black Ops 3 and 4, Treyarch really kind of figured out how LMGs should be treated, and I feel like in future zombie games to come, we're going to see a lot more and better LMGs, even though, you know, my preferred favorites are the OG ones because they actually look and sound like guns and not toys from Toys R Us, but still, I am glad that weapons are actually starting to do things on high rounds, even if they are made up bullshit guns. Now, there is one weapon in here that a lot of people think should probably be on here, but I'm going to save for a completely different video. That is the Death Machine. I will be saving that for like a special weapons video like the Death Machine, ballistic knife, crossbow, stuff like that. I'm going to save that gun for that video. So that is every LMG, I'm pretty sure. If I forgot one, please, you know, just say bald piece of shit, you forgot this one. Then I will proceed to make up an excuse for me not including it in this video. Real quick, I would like to say a shout out to my lovely Patreon supporters. My Patreon supporters and me, we're pretty tight homies, and I kiss them goodnight because, you know, it's not gay if you're homies. So thank you to my Patreon supporters. If you guys would like to be one, check out that link. It'll be right down there below. And also, while you're down there, make sure you do follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and Twitch, and any other link I have down below. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.